know you guys like our crisp openings. Hopefully we can open the episode with this. That's nice.
Okay.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Crazy. Well, it's all right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another
Episode.
of Who Would Have Thought?
Who would have thought?
With your
And
boy, Devin and Emilio.
Devin and Emilio. I would love to hop in on this podcast just as a simple hot take.
Okay.
Most people don't want success. They like the idea of success. And I'm saying that because I was one of them people that liked the idea of success and not really knowing what I needed to do in actually order to get that success. I was fed motivation and constantly thinking like, oh, yeah, I can do this. And then when the hard times or the hard decision came to do that thing that would get me to success, I didn't do it. And it's been a game changer for me, knowing really what it takes to get to success. And I think you're constantly learning that. And anyone that has gotten a little bit of success will tell you most people like the idea of success. And they don't want success. Does that make sense? Does that resonate with you in any way?
Yeah, great hot take. You're making me think now. Do I even want success, or do I just like the idea of success?
Most people are like that too.
Yeah. I want to tell you a story. When I was in 6th grade, I loved basketball. I loved it. I played Oaks. Played
Shooter, huh?
Travel. Yeah, I was a shooter. I thought I was cool because I could pass the ball behind my back.
Oh yeah,
Most
you're
of
one
the
of
time
those guys.
Yeah, most of the time I missed the target, but
Out of bounds?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I wanted to make the 7th grade team. I was on the 6th grade B team, and I had a buddy named Brian Triesenberg. He made the A team for the 6th grade team. He said, hey, we're going to train at the Oaks at this time every week or every day of every week, and we're going to get you suited. It lasted maybe a week and a half, and then we stopped practicing. But the idea there when I was young was that I was watching the NBA. I was watching them have all these fancy watches, fancy cars, these women, and I wanted to have that. And so I was like, I need to make the 7th grade team in order to get that, and I need to train hard. And so I very much liked the idea because I was looking at the far end of what success would look like, and I didn't do the work. I ended up not making the 7th grade team, and I was crying. I was in terrible shape. It tore me. And yeah, at that age, I liked the idea of success, but I didn't want it.
Why do you think so many people deal with that, of the idea of something? Do you think it's they just strictly can't put their mind to the execution, or it's you're so far in the end result that you're not even thinking about the work that has to be done to get there?
Yeah, let me say this in the camera. Anybody can have the ability to have the systems in play, or what was your question again? Why do you think it's hard for people to do the execution of getting to results? Okay.
Do you think it's because they're so far-fetched on the idea, or there's the materialistic aspect of once I get this watch, I'm going to be him? And then you get there, or you don't get there, and you're just fantasizing about this. And it goes back to the idea of you're ingesting so much motivational content that you're not even doing, and there's no execution.
Yeah. I was going to say into the camera, anybody can execute. Anyone. It also depends on the goal, but I think anybody can execute. If you have systems in play, anyone can execute. You don't got to be blue. You don't got to be strong. You don't got to have a six-pack. It doesn't matter. Depending on your goal, anyone can execute. We often like to feed our minds with this BS that because I wasn't born into this, I didn't get this opportunity, I don't have this item, asset, blah, 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 fill in the blank, I cannot execute on something.
So what do you say to the people that say, oh, well, my you don't know my story and you don't know my shoes and I have different cards dealt than you and you have an advantage? Like, what do you say to that person? Just man up? Or is it life's unfair, get to it?
My simple answer to that I'm going to keep it very, very simple, is whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Who am I to influence what you've already set in stone in your brain? If you think that you can't get to the NBA because your dad didn't get to the NBA, your dad wasn't in the NBA before you or doesn't have the connections, and my dad does, and you're saying, you're feeding yourself this story of, hey, your dad has these connections, that's the reason why you're in, and I will never get into the NBA because I didn't have these genetics or my dad didn't have this level of connections to the NBA. And you're already set on that. Who am I to be like, hey, you're wrong? First of all, just who I am, I'm not going to convince you.
But why? Why not try convincing them?
If they're already set in their ways, if someone's saying, hey, I don't think whether I've already believed and you see he's devoted into what he believes, who am I to change that?
That's fair. But do you think that sometimes people need that? And this is subjective to everyone because it could be different. You know, sometimes for me, I mean, you've done it multiple times where it's like, I tell you something and you know the answer and you almost have to rephrase it to me to where I can understand it to myself. And I'm like, okay, I'm being a little, you know.
Facetious?
Yeah. And I'm just not getting after it. I think sometimes there is a benefit, but I think the starting ground, you have to make your own choice. There is a truth to, I'm not going to convince you that you can get your dream. You have to be the one to make sure and to believe that it's possible, because everyone can tell you, go do that. But if you don't do it or you don't believe it, you're probably not going to do it.
My biggest thing to you is stop dreaming about it. Stop complaining about it. If your dream is to go to and I'm just using the NBA example. You can fill this in with whatever you want. I'm in sales. And so the more sales you make, the more money you make.
Yeah.
And there's constantly, and any sale, I don't care what industry you're in, whether it's logistics, wholesale, door to door, there's always that complaint of my leads aren't good. You're closing all the sales because you have leads, you have this manager. They're feeding themselves that lie that, and let's say to a certain extent, they do have good leads. That's not gonna stop you from being a good salesman. You're not a great salesman because you have good leads. There's many more different things that make you a great salesman. There's communication, there's following up. Following up is such a huge skill. And so if you were to just dive it into this niche of, I don't have good leads, I don't have a good manager, whatever it is, who am I to tell you, hey, that's not it?
Yeah.
And if you're on the other end of the complaining, either stop complaining or stop having that goal. You're right. The biggest problem is they're obsessed with the goal and not the journey.
And then most people that actually attend that love the journey more than the destination.
They forgot about the goal. They're so in tune or in the moment of the journey, they've already bypassed the goal.
And they keep going.
Yeah. That wasn't what drove them. And you know, I want to give a story, and this is something that we both relate to. I'm going to tie it back to we're very self-development oriented. I wanted girls to take me seriously, and I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with my mom where I was like, Mom, I'm brown, I'm in a predominantly Caucasian neighborhood, I stick out like a sore thumb, I'm short, I'm chubby.
Yeah.
I've been the person complaining that nobody can change my mind. That's why I'm able to put myself, that's why I'm giving the answers. I was that person who was like, these girls aren't talking to me because I'm short and chubby. They're not talking to me because I'm brown, I don't fit in with everybody. They're not talking to me because I'm on the bench of the soccer team.
But where did you get that thinking? Was it just because seeing natural selection in school, or like what told you growing up that was what you were supposed to, like, that's what you believed? I
guess for me, I wanted something and I wasn't getting it. So the first thing I was looking to was, what can I blame besides myself? What can I give accountability besides myself?
Dang.
I wanted girls to take me seriously. I wanted girls to not just be friends with me. I wanted a girlfriend. And in junior high, high school, middle school, I was insecure. I was the most insecure you could ever be. And so that's why I was blaming things. Like in soccer, whatever girls were in the fans, they could have just been moms or grandmas, whoever cared. And I was like, they're not going to, Like, I don't even know. It was just like, they're not going to watch me because I'm on the bench. And it's like, no one, everyone's just watching the soccer game. No one really cares about it. So most of these times we're filling lies in ourselves. We're just filling them because we want to say something. We want to blame something.
Yeah.
But kind of going to the story was, or the idea that I was trying to point it back to was, when you're obsessed with a journey, you often lose sight of the goal that you had and you surpass it and you're chasing other things, or you're just more in tune with the journey. And so for me, my goal when I was younger was I wanted girls to take me seriously. And I would complain to my mom and I would say, you know, I'm ugly because I got acne, or I can't play sports and I got a six pack. It was very much like I didn't have a six pack. It was like, and
Yeah.
you know, I got out of high school and that's kind of when it started the journey. I was like, I'm going to start getting in shape. I'm going to start
doing the things that I need to do.
I'm going to start connecting with other guys that want to grow. I want to go skydiving. I want to do this. I want to do that. I've got a very incredible person by my side, and I'm still doing these things because I don't know any better at this point.
You got the goal.
I got the goal. I mean, the goal, I guess, is to get married.
Yeah.
So I haven't fully gotten there.
From being little, you achieved something
Yeah.
that just came along the way.
Yeah.
So this brings up another point. Why even set goals then? If the journey is where it is, and I'm saying this just open-minded.
That's a good question.
Because
Yeah.
if you are so attached to this goal that's right here, and this is the journey between to where you are and your goal, if you just surpass this, what's even the is the goal the guiding light when you need to be reminded, or is because again you got the goal, but now you're still doing this thing, you're still on the journey.
I believe goals are good for many things. The first thing that comes to mind is you need to find a measuring point. Just because I'm exceeding at my goals and we have the same goals doesn't mean you're going to also exceed yours. We can even have the same systems. We're just going to be moving at different speeds. So if we're both salesmen, which we are, but we're in different industries. Let's say we're in the same industry and our goal is to hit 50K gross profit books, and we have the same systems. I might just be closing my leads because I was at the right place at the right time and I've gotten there faster. However, for you, you've just been unfortunate. You've been at the wrong time, at the wrong place. So you're getting to your goal slower than I am. I'm 3Xing and you're not even meeting this timeline that you've set for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Setting that goal is going to help measure, hey, am I going to make this timeline or am I going to have to push it back? Sometimes also, for me, I'm setting goals right now. I have this thing called a big-ass calendar. Excuse my language. I don't know if you're going to bleep it or not.
No, yeah.
It's from Jesse Itzler.
Yeah. It's an awesome calendar.
Yeah, he's a big entrepreneur. He started this company. He started his own jet company. He sold it to Warren Buffett. He's a serial entrepreneur.
His story is crazy. How we pitched the Coca-Cola thing. Did you hear that?
With David Goggins or?
There's a story where he brought a baseball player in, or I don't know the exact story. He brought a baseball player in and he closed them because he brought the dude in and he knew that it was just a crazy story. And you could look it up because I'm gonna mess it up, but it was just a crazy story in the entrepreneurial space. Great dude. And yeah, the Big Ass calendar is an awesome calendar.
Yeah, and so someone like me, I'm terrible with dates, timeline. I'm so bad where if we would have hung out, perfect example, if we would have hung out last week and Devin's like, oh, when's the last time we hung out? I'd be like, I don't know. I just have such a bad gauge of time, like birthdays. And so I got this big ass calendar. It's literally when I wake up, it's the first thing I see. And it helps me so much because it helps me track, measure goals or my timeline that I need to meet. It's just incredible. So for anybody that's bad with timing, bad with anything, highly recommend that you either get this calendar or you just get a calendar. Life game changer. Anywho, going back to goals. Why do people set goals? Why do I set goals? I set goals so that way I can see my timeline and I can also set steps. I can see what my journey needs to look like. What systems do I need to set in play? How many cold calls do I need to make? How many outreaches do I need to do? When do I need to make a timeline of meeting with my manager? So the goals they're very important. They're very important.
What do you say to people that are very set in stone? Because I'm a very firm believer. You set a date, you don't change it. And I understand life happens, but for me, with my experiences, is I can set a date, and this is something I've grown to fix, and I'm still fixing. I'll go to set a due date on something on one of my goals. And, excuses come up, and then, well, I'll push it back a couple days. And then, life happened, and then I got to push it back a couple days, and then I'm just pushing it back and pushing it back. It's where then it becomes procrastination, because I know I can get the goal done. I know I can do it, but it's just this setting dates sooner rather than later gives me a sense of urgency that if I don't get this done, something bad will happen. And I'm not saying like, someone's going to come out of the bush and like shoot me, but I'm letting myself down on my word. And therefore, I'm letting other people down on my word, because if I can't hold myself to a due date that I set for my goal, how am I going to tell someone, hey, this client, this is that due date, and I'm going to stick to it? So, yeah, it's a very, very interesting point, and I like how you said we could have the same systems. We can get the same pitch deck, and the same, hey, you read these lines, and you read those lines, and same system and same goals, but it goes down to same place, same time, just making sure that you're doing the things that you need to do to get to those goals.
When did you realize that? Like, what came to mind? Why is that controversial?
I think it's controversial because it flares something up inside of people, because it brings out their insecurities of, do I actually want this?
Do you actually want a Lamborghini? Or do you say you just want a Lamborghini? Kind of like that. People that say that, or go ahead, I'm sorry.
It's down to the people that post, the gang's gonna have a Lamborghini, we're gonna be rolling up in No, you're not. You are not. I've seen the way that your lifestyle is. I see the way that you get up. I see the way that you go out. You are not gonna have a Lamborghini. You like the idea of you and your squad having a Lamborghini, or you like the idea of having a bunch of money. But if I told you exactly X, Y, and Z, how to get there, 90% of people will still not do it. I can lay out the system and say, here's how you get a Lamborghini from this, and then you'll get a Lamborghini, and it's going to take this long. And you still, knowing this information, will probably still not do it. But you like the idea of having a Lamborghini. You fantasize about it at night. Oh, man, hearing that thing turn on. Hearing all the women looking at me and I'm hot status. But if I told you exactly everything you're going to have to go through, and you're going to have to go through some hard stuff, and you're going to have to work late, you're going to have to miss this, you're going to have to go to the gym and do all these things, and you're going to have these hard conversations with yourself, 9 times out of 10, most people aren't willing to do that.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the idea of that's literally what social media is. How many times can you go onto something and you save it and you're like, this is going to get me my result? And then you never go back to that reel. You never implement what that person actually told you to get from A to Z. You just like the idea of getting to Z. It's the execution that has to happen. I can put a goal here, and the only thing that's stopping from me, I know I can get it. I know I can. But the only thing that's stopping is execution. And it's very, very hard for people nowadays in a world that is so caught up in materialistic things and how do I get 10K a month the fastest? How do I get rich fast in this richness theme? I don't want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. There's a huge difference between getting rich and getting wealthy. I want generational wealth. I don't want quick overnight money.
Talk to him, Dad. Talk to him.
It goes down to just execution. That's what they're scared of. It comes down to execution. I can tell you. I told so many people, they're in my DMs. How do I do this? How do I do this? I want to learn. Can you do this for me? Can you X, Y, and Z? I'm like, just do it. Just do it. Well, how'd you learn how to do that? I just did it. I just learned. I failed and I learned. The biggest thing too, I think people are scared of is being a failure. I love being a failure. I love failing all the time. If I could fail every single day, I would do it, because then it tells me, don't do that again. Don't do that again. If you fail here, don't do it again.
Yeah.
What'd you learn from this failure? Because if you're only winning, you're not learning. But if I fail, okay, maybe I'm not going to do that again. And that will get me one step closer to my goals. And that's why I think it's so important for men to be around like-minded men that want to succeed and want to get there. Because if I'm in a group of 10 people or 10 men around here that are all failing and doing their own individual failures, I'm learning 10 times faster of what not to do.
Ooh, yeah.
So it really matters who you're around too with the execution. Because are you around people that are just getting by? I'm scared to fail. No, I want a bunch of failures around me, because I know if we're constantly failing, it's because we're trying to get to somewhere. Tell me one person that has done something great that's like, oh yeah, I haven't failed. I just got it done. I haven't met anyone that has done that.
Yeah.
The greatest people that I've learned lessons from are the people that have failed the most. Yeah, it just comes down to execution. And again, I think the people that you're around, but you are the only person that can execute to get to your goals. Emilio, I can't execute for you to get to your goals. I might be able to give you some failures to, hey, Emilio, I see you're trying to get that goal. Don't go down that route. I've done that before. Or, hey, Emilio, I got a perfect connection that can get you to where you want to be a little bit faster. But at the end of the day, I can't wake up in Emilio's body and be like, all right, let's go attack Emilio's goal. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You have to look in the mirror and you have to be like, hey, do I want this enough? And most people, I say this from myself, and that's why I bring it up as a hot take, because I used to be that person where it was, yeah, dang, I want that. And then hindsight, I scroll on my phone for a couple hours, and I'm like,
you don't want that.
Yeah, you don't want that. And it takes someone who has it, or that goal, it takes some realization, seeing what they've gone through, and you're like, I don't know if I really want that. Because you see all the hardship and all the failures that they had to go through, and you're like, I don't know if I want to go do that. Do I really want it, or do I just like the idea of it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, is that here's the other thing is, I want to ask you, I'm going to make a statement real quick, and then I'm going to ask you a question too, to help anybody that's listening. Some people also, when they say, I'll use the Lamborghini for example, people say, oh, I want a Lamborghini. Well, what they're really saying is, I want to be cool, because they see what the Lamborghini brings. It brings popularity, brings whatever girls, it brings
just
status.
Metal and rubber, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Metal and rubber, that's all it is. When you boil it down, it's just 4 tires and an engine that goes. But it's something that a Lamborghini...
You can boil it down. It's tough, or you can boil it up. I've never heard that statement, but I'm gonna say that statement right now.
Boil it up. Sounds weird when you say it like that.
It's metal and rubber that very few touch. Yeah. Touch. Even look at. Like I don't even know if I've seen a Lamborghini. I probably have, but it's not like it's common reoccurrence. We also live in the suburbs, but so if you go to like, but the idea stands true is that it's very rare to get for someone to achieve buying a Lamborghini or attaining one.
100%.
Okay, so yeah, all I wanted to say was the statement is that some people just like the idea of what they want, and they truly don't even want it. Some people like the idea of
what it can
having
do
that
for them.
Notoriety of having
the
that
status,
item.
the status that comes with it.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, have you heard of what's that statement of you've never seen a guy crying in a Ferrari? I think that statement is far from true. I know many wealthy people, multimillionaires. They are not happy. They're the farthest from happy.
Yeah.
And I've seen people that live with below their means, and they're the happiest people in the world. And again, it just goes down to what your morals are and what your status and what the end goal of your life goal. Yeah,
that's tough. You can find people in both ideas. Like they're not making money and they're the happiest people, and there's people that are making incredible money and they're not happy.
Yeah.
This can vary from person to person. It's going to. Who I am, this is our podcast, is that by you making more money, you have the possibility to put your family in the best care possible. Whether it's buying healthy food for them,
if you choose to do so, though.
Yeah, but just that alone, you can quite honestly extend your parents' life expectancy by making more money.
Yeah,
put them in the best hospitals with the best doctors. You can extend your I wouldn't use that statement as don't make a lot of money. I think there's a lot of benefits, and money is not the end all be all.
No, money is a tool.